Well, let's take a look at some examples to identify similar polygons. So let's say we have actually triangle DEF, and we want to determine if it is similar. We don't know, so let's put a question mark there, to triangle HJK. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is go ahead and construct triangles. So let's say we have two 3-line segments, and we call these particular line segments here D, E, and F. We want to also say that line segment D and E is, we'll just call it 4. Line segment E and F, let's call it 5. And line segment DF, let's call it 3. Well, let's construct the other. And here, we're going to do H, J, and K. Love this line. Man, keep my little hands from being nervous. Okay, and we say that this is J, this is K, and this is H. Well, let's say HJ, let's call it 5, and JK, let's call it 6.25, and HK, let's call it 3.75. Again, we're trying to see if this particular triangle is similar to this particular triangle. So let's go inside and take a look at some angles. So let's say angle D measures at a right, or 90 degrees actually. So let's say angle H measures at 90 degrees also. And we can also say that E and J are congruent, and let's say K and F is congruent also. Well, now we need to determine what is it that we need to do, since we are loaded with all of this information. Well, first thing, you want to check and see if your corresponding angles are congruent. So we can see just by looking that angle D is congruent to angle F. I'm sorry, angle H, because they both have the same degree. We can also see that angle E is congruent to angle J, because we see the two arches. We can also see that angle F is congruent to angle K. So we got the first little step out of the way, is to make sure that they are correspondent. Okay, Next thing we want to do is check and see if the corresponding sides are proportional. Okay, so that's the second thing. We want to make sure that the sides are proportional. I hope you guys are writing these notes down. So here we see that side DE. Let me go back up so you can make sure you see that. We see side DE. So if we would write DE, and we can say that HJ, we're looking at that, HJ, so we want to make sure, what's the measurement for DE? 4. What's the measurement for HJ? Is 5. Now, what we're going to do here is we want to simplify this as best possible. So let's divide 5 into 4. So we go up here and the numerator, so we'll have it inside our dividend, and our 5 will be a divisor. So we know that 5 cannot go into 4. But we can bring a 0 and find that it goes into 40 8 times. So that will give us 40. So we can see that this simplifies to 0.8. So now let's take a look at the next one, which is EF, and JK. So looking here, we would have EF and JK. And here we have 5 over 6.25. And again, be careful here. 5 is your dividend and 6.25 is your divisor, but you cannot divide by a decimal. It must be a whole number. So we'll bring the decimal over 2 places in the dividend, so that means you must bring it over 2 places in the divisor as well. And if you do so, 625 will not divide into 500, so there's your 0. So now you must put another 0 there. Your decimal point is already raised, and here 625 divides into 5,000 in all actuality 8 times. 8 times 6, think about this, 48, right? And what is 0.8 times 25? Well, actually, that's going to give you 2. So 48 plus 2 will actually give you the 5,000 that you're looking for. Okay. So now, what do we come up with? Again, 0.8. And the third and last one that we need to take a look at is actually DF. That's on the bottom here. So we're looking at DF over HK. Okay, so our figures are, take the sides, 3 over 3.35, 3.75. And if we do the math, then remember that it is a decimal, so you must bring that out. If you have issues with that, then please check out Khan Academy Dividing by a Decimal. And I'm going to take my calculator and go ahead and solve this. But again, it's going to give me 0.8. So what I'm noticing that since the corresponding angles are congruent and 4/5 is equal to 5 over 6.25, which is equal to 3 over 3.75, 5. So in plain words, they all equals 0.8. That's why they're equal. So we can literally say from this conclusion that triangle DEF is literally similar, not congruent, similar to triangle HJK. Okay, we'll work with another example. Make sure that you get a good understanding. But again, it's just practice. So we can literally erase our little question mark at the top because it is similar.